have any question, just put it in the chat. When we finish, we'll address the questions. I am a nurse, and I've worked as a personal support worker for years before I went to school as a senior to become a nurse. So I am very keen on creating a lot of awareness on a lot of issues that can affect our seniors, and I am very a lot of issues that affect our seniors in many ways. So especially this abuse of seniors, I am very keen about it. So to recognize the issue, the United Nations established World Elder Abuse Awareness Day in 2011. They want everyone to recognize June 1st every year as a day to which the world voices opposition to elder abuse is a human rights violation and enhances the recognition of the dignity of elder persons and their right to live free of fear and violence. I'm going to go to slide 1 now. Slide 1, please. Okay. New Horizon program for senior 2025 training. Okay, this we are going to do the introduction right now, then we'll follow up next week about Today I'm going to tell you about the New Horizon Senior Program. This workshop is funded in parts for the New Horizon Senior Program. The New Horizon for Senior Program supports projects that are designed by seniors and for seniors in their communities. This program funds projects that empower seniors in their communities and contributes to improving their health and well-being. On the core objectives is expanding awareness of elders abuse. Let's go to the next slide. This course aims to educate and empower senior caregivers and community members about the different types of abuse, prevention strategies, and resources available to help the affected. Whether you are a senior, aged 55 or above, according to New Horizon for Senior programs, or you know a senior, it does not matter what age you are, you still have something to learn. So let's go ahead and learn something. Introduction. We're going to talk about objective of the workshop. The objective of this workshop is to raise awareness about the abuse, neglect, and exploitation of older people, to promote respect and dignity for older people, to prevent isolation and help older people feel safe and secure, help people identify signs of abuse and know how to report it. We're going to go to the importance of awareness and prevention now. Elders abuse awareness and prevention are important because abuse can cause serious physical and psychological harm to older people. Elder abuse can cause serious physical injury, long-term psychological consequences, and can even lead to death. Elder abuse is also a human rights issue that violates basic rights and freedom. Elder abuse violates basic rights and freedom and is human rights issue. Let's go to slide 4. Understanding abuse. What is abuse? According to Wikipedia, elder abuse, also called elder mistreatments, senior abuse, abuse in later life, abuse of older adults, abuse of older women, and abuse of older men, is a single or repeated act or lack of appropriate action occurring within any relationship where there is an expectation of trust, which causes harm or distress to an older person. We have different, the different kinds of abuse. There is a physical abuse, which ranges from slapping, kicking, shoving, or severe beating of an elder. Then there's psychological, when a caregiver or caretaker gives the silence treatment or intimidates the individual by threatening them. Then financial abuse range from misuse of funds to embezzlement. Money just disappearing from accounts, not knowing where it's going. Then neglect. Intentional failing to meet the physical, social, or emotional need of the older persons. There's equally another one, which is sexual abuse. It happens too with the elderly when you force them into intimacy which they are not prepared for. How do we recognize the signs of this abuse? There are indicators. Like for physical abuse, you can start to see some bruises on the elderly's body, injuries, unexplainable injuries, cuts, bruises, or sores on their body. Then you can see on unusual changes in their behavior or sleep pattern due to psychological abuse. You can see withdrawal from normal activities. They are not coming for what programs they used to come for. You don't hear from them anymore. Then there is like when they are neglected, sometimes they smell because they are not well cared for. Maybe they are using incontinent products, they are not changed regularly, or they don't know how to do it by themselves anymore. When they are neglected, it leads to like them having odors or poor hygiene. So, which can lead into anxiety, depression, and those impact of this abuse on the senior can lead to withdrawals, can lead to anxiety, can lead to depression in the life of the seniors. Violence against seniors and their perception of safety in Canada is very important. So the government has made these highlights. According to the general survey, according to the General Social Survey on Canada Safety Victimization, there were about 120,000 senior victims of violence in Canada in 2019. The rates of violent victimization were 5 times lower among seniors aged 65 and older compared to younger Canadians, which was 20 versus 100 incident per 1,000 population. Overall, 3/4, which is 76% of seniors who reported experiencing violent victimization in 2019 were physically assaulted right here in Canada. A small population of seniors compared to younger Canadians reported experiencing abuse by an intimate partner in the 5 year preceding the survey. 7.5% of seniors reported experiencing emotional or financial abuse, and 1.5% reported experiencing physical or sexual abuse by an intimate partner. Most seniors were somewhat or very satisfied with their personal safety from crime. 80%, 82% perceived their neighborhood as having a lower amount of crime than other areas in Canada. 77% are reports of somewhat a very strong sense of community belonging. That is 72%. In 2020, the rate of police reported violence against seniors was highest in the territories and New Brunswick between 2015 and 2020. Police reported senior victimization increase in every province and territory. The rate of police reported violence was higher for senior men than senior women in every province and territory in 2020, and in nearly all census metropolitan areas. In 2020, the overall rate of police reported senior victimization in the province was higher in rural compared to urban area, 247 versus 214. More than 60% of all police reported violence against seniors involved the use of physical force. An additional 19% involved of weapon. About 1/3, 35% of seniors suffered a physical injury as a result of the violence they experienced. In 2020, the overall rate of police reported senior victimization in the province was higher in rural compared to urban areas. Among senior men who were homicide victims, 2/3, 67, were killed by a non-family members, most commonly a friend. 30% followed by a stranger, 20% or an acquaintance, 70%. Among senior women who were homicide victims, 2/3, 67% were killed by an intimate partner, 32% or family members, 35%, while on the 13% senior were killed by strangers. We can see that those killed by strangers are even lower. The next slide, please. How do we prevent abuse? How do we prevent abuse? To prevent abuse, we have to learn the signs of abuse first, what to look after. We really need to know this for physical and emotional abuse, as well as sign of financial abuse, neglect, or abandonment. Number one, the signs. Look for, like in physical abuse, look for signs of injuries, cuts, bruises in the body of your loved ones, your parents. Check them out all the time. See, are they withdrawing from what they used to love? Sign of withdrawal, sign of unusual changes in their sleep pattern or behavior, unsanitary living condition. Are they smelling? Do they stink? Are they getting like, are their daily living aids missing, like hearing aids, dentures? Do they wear them the right time? Are they taking off the right time? The next slide, please. Stay connected. Stay connected. Make sure you are connecting with your loved ones. Celebrate with them. Make sure you invite them. You're in touch. You call them, they call you back. If you don't hear from them, you call, they are not picking phone. Go to them. Be a friend to them. Provide every information they need. Don't isolate them. Make sure you provide everything they need. Like, make sure if they need a wheelchair, they need canes to stand up, they need things to go around, make sure they are close. Those things are close to them. Their daily living aids, make sure it's close to them. Make sure things are going on with them. And if you don't call them, if you don't reach out to them, you are not going to know. Don't just leave them in the hands of the caregivers alone. Give them a call. The next slide. Build supportive relationship. Make sure your as elders, make sure you connect with your friends too. Reach out to them, and you, the children of the elderly, call them. Make sure you are in touch with them. Make sure you are in touch with their caregivers. Make sure they speak to you. Don't let someone tell you, oh, they are sleepy. You call this time, they are sleepy. Next hour, they are sleepy. No, they cannot just be sleeping all the time. Make sure you are able to speak to them. Make sure you're able to reach them. And you, the elders, too. Make sure you connect with your friends. Build supportive relationship. Go out with your friends. Celebrate with them. Don't isolate yourself. Go celebrate your birthdays. Go to gym together. Go for yoga, whatever you do together. Go, even if it's a church program or whatever religion you belong to, connect. Get a strong connection. Like my friends, I remember the day she called me, she called twice. I didn't pick up the phone. Before you know, she was knocking on my door. So make sure you reach out to you reach out to your friends. Don't just leave them and believe they are okay. They may not be okay. Assertiveness skill development, confident development. Be confident. Understand assertiveness. No differentiation between non-assertiveness, passive aggressiveness, and assertiveness. Know the difference. Step 2, self-awareness. Understand your own character, feelings, values, motives, and desires, your communication style. Know all this. Try to understand your parents' character, their motivation, the way they communicate. You need to know, so that if you are not feeling that, if you are not hearing that, you need to find out what is going on. Communication, learn what is socially appropriate behaviors for self-expression. Seniors, you need to learn all this. You're not too old to learn things. Make sure you're learning. Keep learning, because when you stop learning, then the brain will start dying. You need to keep learning new things. Learn what is appropriate behaviors for self-expression of feelings, attitudes, wishes, opinion, and rights. Real life practice. Extend your new skills into real life situation outside of the training. After you have received all this training, you've gone to gym, they've taught you how to do these things on your own too. Try them. Report your progress. Do something. Report your progress. See how you are doing. Do practice section, modeling, behavior, or rehearsal. Redo them again and again. Systemic feedback. Give feedback on how you're doing. Do your homework. If you are given assignments, do them. Skill training, specific verbal and non-verbal behaviors. Anxiety reduction techniques, cognitive and structural techniques. You continue to redo things you've learned. That's the only way to master things. Be aware, get aware. Awareness is power. Use technology safely. Remember, when it seems too good, something may be wrong. When they start sending you texts, give us your bank number, press this, you're going to make 3 million. No, that is scam. Learn how to spot scam. Learn how to know when it's not safe. If you do not understand your technology very well, ask for help from your caregiver, from your children, from people around you. Ask for help. Learn how to be financially literate. Learn things in computer. Learn computer operations. In this forum, we teach a lot of things. After this session, we're gonna take other sections too. You can learn a lot from different sections. I know a few months back, we talked about how to avoid scam, how to be technologically safe. Learn, learn, learn. Get awareness. Awareness is power. Know your rights. Know your rights. Elders Abuse Prevent Ontario has information about what the rights of seniors are. Search for it so you know. Ontario Human Rights Commission also has information on the website. Province of Ontario also has information on the website regarding rights of seniors. Seniors in Ontario have rights. Ontario Human Rights Code, enacted in 1962, prohibits action that discriminates against people based on a protected group in a protected social area. All older adults have the right to life, liberty, and security. Don't let somebody keep you somewhere and you are not getting informed. Older adults in Ontario who are capable have the right to make their own decisions, to choose what is best for themselves, to expect service, to enhance capacity, to maintain control over their destiny and decision, to preserve and maintain the quality of life. Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario uphold the rights of all older adults. It is important to respect the following issue when providing help to abuse. Yes, you have the right to preserve and maintain, they have the right to preserve and maintain their quality of life. Next slide. Responding to, it is important to respect the following issue when providing help to abused or at-risk senior. Remember, there's diverse cultural customs, language differences and barrier, religious beliefs, sexual orientation, lifestyle choices, poverty, socioeconomic status, at-risk factors, disabilities, behaviors, educational background. We are not all the same. Family relationship, personal attitudes. Seniors who are victims of crime, Ontario provincial legislation for victims of crimes. The province of Ontario passed an act respecting victims of crime, Victims' Bill of Rights, June 11, 1996. The act supports and recognizes the need and rights of victims of crime, including seniors, in both the criminal and civil justice system. The Act specifies how victims of crime should be treated by justice system officials at different stages of the criminal justice process. Next slide. How to respond to abuse. What do you do if you suspect abuse? There are guiding principles. Respectfully talk to the elder. Respect their values and personal decision. Seek consent or permission. Let them know that everything is going to be confidential and private. Avoid ageism. Mama, papa. What to do when you suspect abuse? Like I've just said, you respectfully talk to the elder, respect their values and personal decisions, seek consent. Then you dial 911. Dial 911 because you still have to respect their value and personal decision. Seek consent and permission, then you can call 911. Then create a personal plan, like for your family and others. You would have talked about a personal plan. If there is any abuse, what to do, the button to press, the things to arrange, where you're going to meet and all that. They reach out to support group and counseling services. There are a lot of programs that are available there. Support groups and counseling services. Next slide. Thank you for joining us today. Please type your question in the chat, and we go from there. Any question? Patients are advocates. Yes, you can advocate for an elder, like you can advocate for an elder. That is why I talked about a guiding principle in addressing abuse. You respectfully talk with the elders on what you're going to do, because you cannot just go ahead and do something. You still have to respect their values and their personal decision. Then you seek consent from the elder and seek permission before you go ahead and advocate. You can advocate with any of the organizations, like you can download, there is, as a healthcare provider or as a family, you have an essential role. Once you recognize the abuse and you have discussed with the patients, then you can go ahead and call 911 and report what you have noticed, and help them to seek the help that they need. And there's guide for different professionals here. There is an English version, there is French version on how to report senior abuse, and on the eapon.ca.
There are other questions there.
Is there a question? Okay. Okay, answer number one. What about patients? Dementia. Okay. That is why we like patients with, like the first one we've have answered, like patients with dementia, the patients with dementia which cannot speak for themselves. That is why you look for physical signs, and physical sign, you check for bruises, like the home where I work. If a patient is going home, we try and do physical assessment. And when they come back too, we do physical assessment to know if there's any bruise or anything that was not on their body that they came back with. And if there's any, we have to ask the family how that got there, and they will have to explain to us. If we are not too comfortable with the explanation, we might have to write an incident report and document it, and the home we take the appropriate decision on reporting it. So if we see such on our parents that is not able to speak for themselves, and they have dementia, we look for signs on their body, and if we notice that if they live by themselves, or they can't live by themselves as being in such condition, we have to ask the caregiver or the home where they live, or if they live in the community, we have to ask them what must have happened. They must be able to explain the cause of such injury. Or if we notice that their daily living aids is not, they are not having their daily living aids, you are giving food to somebody that uses dentures, and they don't have dentures. How do you expect them to eat the food? They are not going to be able to eat it. And if they use hearing aids and they don't have their hearing aids, they're not going to hear you. So in such a situation, we have to talk to the caregivers to make sure that those things are provided next time if we see that they don't have them. And if we come in, they're not smelling well, we have to talk to the caregivers, because it's unacceptable. And knowing that they cannot speak for themselves, that is very important. We need to speak to the caregiver to make sure they are well cared for, that they are not neglected. And if we suspect abuse, then we have to investigate it. If we investigate, then we have to report, like, actually, you have to report even those you suspect, those you have investigated, and you have to report everything. Every form of abuse is reportable. What can younger generation do to help? Okay. Yes. Younger generations can take a can take a course on short courses on how to look after their elderlies, or just learning how to look after your elderly parents. From looking after your elderly parents, you'll be able to look after the community elderlies by assisting in assisting in their caregiving, assisting in with your grandparents' financial needs, watching them, make sure they are not neglected, make sure they learn how to assess them, know when they are behavioral, they are having differences in the way they behave before. Learn how to see if they are now withdrawing, if they are not coming out as before, if they are not speaking, relating with you as before. You can find out if they are sick, what is going on with them. By looking after all that, you'll be able to look after the community elderlies, and monitoring them to see if they have bruises, because sometimes they might be walking through a door because now they're not they are having vision problem, and they bruise their hand near the door, and there is a bruise there. By identifying those things early, and knowing those things, you'll be able to know when those in the community too have such a problem, and how to attend to those little bruises immediately, and notify maybe your parents, which those are which those grandparents are parents too. Yes, maybe help an elder recover from trauma. Okay, this we are going to talk extensively on in the next lecture next week. How a family member can help an elder recover from the trauma of abuse. Yes, there are committees. There are communities one can actually reach out to if an elder is at risk for abuse. Like I said, you can connect to. There are groups that you can connect to on. Just a minute, please. There's a Elder Abuse Prevents Ontario has information on what the rights of seniors are. Search for it so you know. Ontario Human Rights Commission also has information on the website. Province of Ontario also has information on the website regarding the rights of seniors. Then Ontario Human Rights Code, enacted in 1962, is there too. Which ones are there particular? Okay. Which ones are most at risk? Most, or they're all at risk, but most at risk, we can say those that cannot speak for themselves, that you have to physically look for signs of abuse in their body, or in the way they behave. Like, are they withdrawing? Are they unkempt? Do they smell? Or do they have their daily living aids? Do they are they not eating the way they used to eat? Are they dehydrated? Which you can see on the way their skin look, their skin toggle. So those are some of the signs you can look for in those that cannot speak for themselves. The demographic, which demographic? Okay, people of call, like what I. It's actually the people of the. Just a minute, please. I'm going to bring out the. where I talked about, please, can you bring where I talked about the percentage of those at risk? Is it 7 or can't remember if it's 7 or 8. No, no. Yes, I think it's here. The statistics is the statistic is here of those that are more at risk. Violence against seniors and their perception of safety in Canada is in this article, released July 7th, 2022. I think it's there. Okay. The disabled elders, audible those with dementia, demographical of okay, which disabled elders, inaudible, those with dementia, etc. Yes, they are all at risk because the disabled, maybe they are not able to get to where they get help or what they need to get help, like their wheelchairs, like their canes, walkers. So they are equally at high risk. The unaudibles, those that cannot hear, if they use hearing aids and they don't have their hearing aids on, they may not hear they may not even know when danger is coming. So they need to have their hearing aids on at all time. Then those with dementia too, that cannot understand or do things for themselves anymore, they are equally at risk. They are all very much at risk. Okay. Next week, we're going to talk about all this extensively. So we'll talk in detail. Thank you for joining us today. Very much appreciate your joining. Thank you. And have yourself a great day.